Hello and welcome. I am Curtis Greco, author and founder of the Imperfect Messenger Foundation. Today's topic reviews a wonderful discussion regarding what I refer to as kinetic behavioral dynamics and the role of the essential compass in one's business and personal lives. When writing the Blind Vision series, lingering in the back of my mind was the concern that the public would think of and judge them, that is the series, and base them on the appearance, at least on the surface, that they were somehow strictly political essays. To truly get the message is to discover that they are not political at all, but more so deeply personal and intimate discussions about the human condition and how unopposed divisiveness and lethargy actually degrade the human being's ascension along their path to greater understanding of purpose and, of course, higher levels of fulfillment. To grasp and define the direction of one's life is the absolute foundation that lies back of any quest for meaning, and of course that which feeds the lifeblood of one's soul, whether it is the search for success that draws one or a deeper understanding that comes with the search for the balance of tranquility. As I pursued discovery, understanding, and development of what became formally identified as kinetic behavioral dynamics, for me, it compelled me along a journey of dissecting the very core of my thoughts, my thinking of why I thought the way I did, why I acted a certain way, and what was at the nucleus of both. I think Emmett Fox defined it quite nicely when he said, "The science of living is the science of mastering your thoughts." For one of the great laws of consciousness is that the law of thought and the law of destiny are inseparable. And this, my fellow messengers, is the very essence of the essential compass. Whether we choose to believe it or not, I am convinced that we are far more spiritual a being than many may be willing to accept, and surely not that we're simply mindlessness and mindlessly lingering in the ethereal. This is a topic of its own, full of rich content to be sure, so let's just set it aside for another time and get into a few quick high-value points that I want to share with you and imprint upon your consciousness. Well then, where do we start? How about a quick brief as to how one would define kinetic behavioral dynamics, or in its short form, KBD. In its simplest versions, the way that best describes it is this: the dynamic relationship between the kinetic and or inertial force of cause and the plurality of outcome. The spine of KBD is the essential compass. To be sure, time and space do not permit a lengthy and detailed discussion regarding the subject. However, for now, let me introduce to you the ribs of the compass's spine, which are a series of waypoints known as the Rule of 8. Let's quickly highlight 4 of them. Number 1, absolute integrity. Character and unadulterated truth in dealing with yourself and with others is simply non-negotiable. Number 2, go where others aren't. This area addresses the very powerful topic of advanced curve dynamics. And remember, your genius lies within. Individuality knows no competition. Number 3, never settle for mediocre. This area introduces the concepts of progeneration and more specifically the topics of progenitive theory and progenitive economics. When it's your footprint in the sand, be sure and make it count. And number 4, always do more. Do more than is expected. I call it develop an inspired and an insatiable desire to over-deliver on the unspoken promise of what might otherwise be expected. And so there you have it. But I tell you what, I'll give you a bonus. Rule number 8 in the series of the Essential Compass. Nothing is more important than rule number 1, absolute integrity. We are, after all, what we think, and what we think is what we know, and what is known must ultimately pulse with the strength of what is, certainly, absolute. Like character and virtue, the image we hold of ourselves and project to the world around us through or by our thoughts and actions is not a function of coincidence or happenstance. It is a direct reflection upon our own instinct, inspiration, and imagination, and how we choose to apply it. As always, we do know there is a choice, which is, of course, precisely how it should be. Be well and always remember, at the Imperfect Messenger Foundation, we are on point, on purpose, in practice. And so, be a part of a life-changing experience by making your voice count. After all, you too are a messenger.